Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. In this brief, or in this short video, I'm going to brief on a workshop that I designed for technical presentation skills. The workshop is designed to be presented for 2 days. However, in this brief, I'm going to highlight only on the basic ideas. So it is about the technical presentation skills. My objective in this presentation is to present standards for technical presentations. Standards بمعنى أسس. It means that whenever that you are designing a new presentation, you have to consider some basics, some basic rules for preparing the slides and also for delivering the presentation itself. Who's gonna benefit from this presentation? Students in science and engineering, also professionals, and it might be in particular or particularly useful for students who are preparing for their co-op presentations or summer presentations or capstone projects, or even thesis or participating in conferences. So the workshop will be applied for all academic and professional presentations. And please note that sometimes you work for a company, or you have a specific you work on or you have an advisor that's giving you a or an instructor, let's say, who's giving you some specific set of rules, like a template, special template for the presentation or so. So if that's the case, then follow whatever template is provided. However, these rules that I'm presenting today are general, and hopefully you will find them useful. And once again, I'm going to highlight only the main ideas on this workshop. So let's see what we have. So in general, I'm going to, in the workshop, I'm going to present on some standards for preparing for the presentation. So of course, time management maybe is one of the basic concepts that you need to consider. Slide design, how to design the technical slides, and what colors to choose, and the font size, and some of the basic slides or essential slides that must be there in any technical presentation, and also some basic standards for your dress and the delivery of the presentation. So let's focus first on the preparing for the presentation. Once again, I'm going to highlight only the basic ideas. So let me see for time management. Time management is very important. If you are allocated 15 minutes for your presentation, you have to start and finish your presentation within your 15 minutes. Usually, when you are taking more than 15 minutes, the organizer of the conference or the presentations that you are making for the co-op coordinator, let's say, or the senior design project coordinator will stop you, and this is, of course, is not a good sign. You will lose points for that. So the rule of thumb is that each slide on average will take from 2 to 3 minutes. So if you are presenting for 15 minutes, then maximum number of slides you can have is 5. Of course, this is just a general rule. Some slides, and this is just on average, some slides might take 4 minutes, 5 minutes. Some slides, like the title slide, for example, might take less time. So you have to prepare accordingly. And of course, let me see if I have here. The way to prepare for your presentation, the best way to prepare for your presentation is to make the presentation several times. So make dry runs with your friends, with your colleagues, with your teammates, or maybe sometimes your instructor. Do it once, twice. The more you do it, the more that you will be confident during your presentation, and the better time management you will have. Make sure to time your presentation when you do the dry runs. Clarity is of the essence. The point of doing your presentation is to convey information, so it has to be very clear. And for the presentation to be very clear, it has to be well connected. Like each time you are presenting a slide, the audience should have a chance to predict what the next slide is. So let's say in the current slide you are talking about the weather, okay, and you say something like the weather is tomorrow is going to be sunny, and there will be no clouds and no rain, and it's and the no wind, and the temperature is fine. Now, if this is your slide and this is all what you are saying in your slide, then your audience will have doubt about what you are going to present next. Are you going to ask them for to go out for a field trip, or a fishing trip? It should be fishing here, not hunting. So, anyways, you need to make connection between this slide, and so each slide should lead to the next slide. So, for example, if you are presenting this slide and you want to talk about volleyball, or you want to invite your colleagues to go in a volleyball game, then you should link this slide to the next one by saying something like the clear weather is good for volleyball. So that's about the organizing your material. I'm not going to go into details about this. Is just a method to organize your material. It's called a mind map. You can do this. I will give you a copy of the slides so that you can get or learn more about the making of the presentations. One of the most important things before the presentation is to practice your presentation. Practice makes perfect. If you didn't practice your presentation, especially for the first presentation you are making, needless to say, you will be very nervous during the presentation, and it will not help you deliver your presentation successfully. These are some tips that help you to be more confident during your presentation. You can practice some breathing exercises. Avoid the drink of coffee or tea before the presentation. Best thing is to drink before the presentation is water, and don't drink too much. If you have a presentation, then you need to come early. Coming late will make you very nervous during your presentation. And also make sure that you have backups for your presentation. Bring a backup in your email, send a backup to your friend, bring a copy of the presentation in your USB. Have several backups, because it's common that during the at the last minute you realize that your presentation copy is not working. So please make sure that you have copies, several backup versions of your presentation. So there are some just exercises in the workshop itself, but let's delve now into slide design. I think this is a very important section. First of all, each slide must have a title and must have a slide number. So numbers and title are essential. Also, you should have the trademark for your company or university. This is very important. When you bigger font is better. The bigger you go, the better is your slide design. And also you are allowed to use different colors. However, and see, this is the title. Here the title where the title should be. Slide number should be here exactly. Okay. Maybe in the middle. Well, I don't prefer it to be in the middle. I prefer the slide number to be in the right corner. And this is essential in every slide. And these are the correct places. For the font size and style, you can go anywhere from 20 to 44. The larger you go, the better your slide is. And your title should be in a bigger font than your text. There are several fonts to choose from in PowerPoint. Some of them look very good, I understand. But it's a good idea to refrain from using any font other than Times New Romans, Arial, or Calibri. These are standards fonts that you find in Word or in PowerPoint. So don't use other fonts. Avoid using other fonts. And the reason for that it is because it might cause some technical errors when you change the computer or change the screen. Some fonts are good in your computer, but when you project them on the smart board or the projector, they go very wrong. So it's better to stick to standard fonts in PowerPoint and in Word as well. Be careful when you use something like boldface or italics. These are not just used anywhere. Boldface is used only for important ideas. Italics is used when you introduce new terms. Be careful about your exclamation marks, and these are not good to use. You should avoid practices like writing all the words in capitals, writing everything in boldface, too many question marks or exclamation marks. Some people might consider the use, these practices, using all capitals or all boldface, some people might consider this rude. So you should avoid using these practices. When you choose your color, you are encouraged to use colors in your presentation. Colors are very important and very useful, and they make your slide dynamic. However, there are certain colors that you can choose from. Maybe this blue, red, black. These are common colors that are used in presentations. However, there are some colors. This is red as well, but note that this red is different from this one. Colors like yellow or pink, these colors should be avoided. Some combinations of colors also does not look good in the screen. So things like red on a black, on a yellow background, or red on a blue background just doesn't look very well on screen. So you need to use colors that are consistent with each other. So this is regarding the slide design. There are some more ideas about slide design. The best slide that you have should have some bullets and also a picture. So pictures are very good. Figures are very important on your presentation. Do not have a slide that has all bullets. Do not have a slide that's all pictures without any bullets. Any slide ideally should have bullets plus photos plus figures. So you can put the bullets first and then put the picture. Note that each picture or each figure must have a caption. Captions in presentations for figures and presentations come above the figure. Should be placed above the figure itself. You can have some bullets on the left and the figure on the right, or you can have the figure on the top and the bullets at the bottom. So all these are organizations that are allowed in your presentations. It's very important that everything is readable, illegible, clearly illegible in all slides. So even if you have a figure and there are some writing inside the figure, like things like this is not allowed. Any writing inside the figure must be illegible and can be read even by the people who are sitting in the last row of your audience. So this is very important. Pictures have to be aligned to each other. If you have several pictures, they have to be on the same line or the same column. Organization and shape is very important, so you have to pay attention to these things. If you have bullets in your presentation, the bullets have to be properly spaced. You cannot have to have the bullets next to each other. This space allow for it makes it more readable, makes it more legible for people. You are not it's not a good idea to have a dense slide like you have too many bullets and too many pictures. This is not good for your presentation. There is a rule of thumb that says 5 by 5 by 5 rule, and this means that you don't have more than 5 lines in your slide, and in each line you have a maximum of 5 words, and you don't have 5 dense slides. Sometimes you have to make some dense slides. At least don't make them in a row, like next to each other. So have a dense slide and then have 2 or 3 slides that are less dense, and then have another dense slide. Don't make more than 5 slides in a row, dense slides in a row. So this is important. I will not talk about footnotes now. Let's go to some essential slides that you need to have in your presentation. So there are several slides in your presentation that has to be there. In every presentation, you must have a title slide. Title slides looks more or less something like this. It has the trademark for your university or your company, your workplace. Things like the college, the department has to be there. And then there has to be the presentation title. Presentation title has to be, this is the most important part of your title slide. It has to be large, in a bigger font, maybe a different color, and it can be all bold. This is very important to have. And then you have some other information. Things like your name and ID are very important when you are presenting in a class. Maybe also the date that you are making the presentation. So this is very important. Logo, university name, college or department name. Please note for the logo that this is a piece of art, so it has certain dimensions. The people who designed this logo designed it with certain dimensions, so you cannot squeeze the logo horizontally or vertically. It doesn't look good. This is a piece of art, it has to be in the proper dimension. And this is the presentation title, it has to be very well emphasized, larger font, maybe different color. And then you have the name and the ID and the date. It has to be illegible, but should not be larger. Yani the font that you are using here should not be very large. Okay, and usually there is no page number, slide number, or title for the presentation, for the title slide. This is called a title slide. Your presentation must have at least one title slide, and it looks more or less something like this. You should state your objectives. Okay, I'm not going into the details here, but you should state your objectives at least of your presentation. You should also have an outline slide. Okay, and there are several forms of the outline slide. Outline slide will help people to understand what you are going to present. You can have it in bulleted form, that's fine. And they have several examples in here. Yeah, here. You can have it in bulleted form. You can have it in, this is called a quad chart. Okay, or you can have some figure, and you highlight the material that you are going to present. But this is different. This is so let me go back to the outline slide. You can have it in bulleted items. Okay, I'm sorry I confused you. This one is not a quad chart, not an outline slide. So either bulleted, something like this, or with pictures, something like that. This is called a quad chart. Okay. One good technique to present your outline is to use a quad chart. A quad chart looks more or less something like that. Doesn't have to be 4 sections. You can have more, but quad in general means 4. So it's better, I think, to have 4 sections. You have the title here above, and then these are the subjects that I'm going to present one by one. I have pictures from my presentation. Okay, there is the slide number is here and everything is down there, but you need to present these items in there. So you need to you put a title for each section, and then you put a picture that's related to the title. So this is one way to present your outline, and it's a good way. It's visually attractive, and it helps people understand what you are saying. So this is a good technique, but you can have bulleted items, that's fine too. So these are 2 types of slides that you need to have: the title slide and the outline slide. There is also something that's called the transition slides. Transition slides come when you present a topic, and then you finish that topic, and then you go next to the next section of your presentation, or the next topic of your presentation. Okay, an example would be, I'm using a transitional slides. So this is a transition slide. Okay, I'm using the same outline slide. This is the quad chart for my presentation, and then I highlight the topic I'm going to present next, and maybe adding some animation is a good idea. And I'm doing this for every section. Okay, so this is also a good technique in your presentation, and it's a good slide to have. I think it's a must to have, actually. You must have transition slides so that people understand the flow of your presentation. That's very important. Transition slides can be of different shapes. You can have bulleted items and then gray out the material that are not presenting next, and highlight the material that you are presenting next. Okay, note the change of the title here. So if you are presenting next the problem statement, then the title here above should be the problem statement. Or you can use the quad chart as we explained before. This is a quad chart. This is the subject, or assume that this is the subject I'm going to display next. So I write here above system description, and I draw this يعني, rectangle around my section so that people understand that I'm going next to this topic. Okay, sometimes you can have a figure and note as well that the title has to match the topic that you are highlighting. Also, you must have a conclusion slide. Every technical presentation must have a conclusion slide. What you can write in the conclusion slide is several things. You can write, you can recap a quick summary of what you did in the presentation. This is very important, and you must do it actually in your conclusion slide. Also, you can highlight on future work or advice for similar projects. Okay, so this is something you can do also on your conclusion slide. So the 3 slides that we mentioned here, let me go back to the transition slide. Okay, you must have a title slide. You must have a problem statement. I didn't talk about this, but you should mention your objectives at least in your presentation. You should have an outline slide or a quad chart, better to have a quad chart. You must have a transition slide or transition slides, actually not one slide, and you must have a conclusion slide. So next I'm going to talk about delivering the presentation. So by delivering the presentation, or the standards for delivering the presentation, I mean the practices that you should follow when you are presenting. So you already designed your slide and you are ready and you prepared for your slide. Now, next you are delivering. You are standing before the people and you want to present your topic. So there are several things that you have to keep in mind when you are presenting. Okay. A general point is that you want to be natural and polite. You don't want to be too formal. You can make a joke, you can laugh, that's fine. You want to talk the way that you are talking to your friends and colleagues in the corridors and in your break time. You don't want to be too formal and too rigid when you are doing the presentation. That's not a good thing to do. You want to be as natural as possible, but of course there are certain limits. You cannot laugh too loud, for example, or use inappropriate language. So you'll be something in between, but more natural than rigid and formal. When it comes to dress code, you should be dressed, usually you are dressed as business casual. Business casual in here in Saudi Arabia, it means a thobe and a shumakh and a gal. But these variation of outfits are acceptable, might be acceptable in some companies in Saudi Arabia. It depends on the company. So some people accept a shirt, a button shirt, or this piece of clothes, and jeans are acceptable, but not the one that has too many stains and too many decorations. That's not good as well. Khakis are good for the presentations. In some presentations you need to go in a formal dress, but this usually is not in universities here in Saudi Arabia. You won't be attending you don't want to attend the presentation with a formal suit or a mishlah, for example. That's too much for the class. So be careful about that. There are some outfits that you need to avoid during the presentation, things like shorts or sleeveless shirts, caps, baseball caps, expensive jewelries or expensive watches. You don't want to look rich in the presentation. Also, you should avoid like too informal dresses, like the or of course dirty clothes. These are things that you should not wear during the presentation. So it's important to think about what to wear when you go to a presentation. Similarly, you need to consider these rules when you go to interviews as well, job interviews. So you don't want to look rich. They are not hiring you for your money, and you don't want to look dirty or silly. You want to look professional, an average professional graduate, let's say. So, يعني, and it's a good idea to sometimes it's a good idea to ask what to wear. Ask the people who are organizing the presentation what to wear during the presentation. Sometimes it's a good idea. Some people might make a fun of it, make a joke of it. That's fine, but it's important to wear appropriately for your presentation. Okay, so you want it to be clean, neat, fresh appearance. You don't want to look different from other people. As far as your haircut is concerned, this is not a personal thing, it's not a personal preference. For me, I wouldn't be judging you on the haircut, but you have to look neat and professional. Okay, so long hair or mohawk, these are things that you should not, weird haircuts, you should avoid this during the presentation. So that's very important. It's important during the presentation to maintain your eye contact. You have audience in front of you, not only the professor. Maybe this is the professor. You should not look only at your instructor. You should maintain the eye contact with everyone. So everyone in the presentation should feel that you are talking to him personally. So you should go back and forth, but in a natural way. Don't look like a radar going back and forth, right to left, right to left. This is not the way. You want to look natural, but you want to give everyone your attention. That's very important. Body language, you need open hands and use your hands when you talk. People use their hands when you talk. Notice yourself and your colleagues when you talk in the corridors and the break time. They do not tie their hands to their pockets or something like that. You usually use your body language. Okay. Sometimes you smile, sometimes you groan. Use also your facial expressions. This is important during the presentation. There are some things that you have to, or some body language acts that you have to avoid. You should not hide your hands, for example, put your hands in your pockets or something like that. This is a sign of nervousness. Each one of these acts of or body language acts, they indicate some feelings of yours. You want to avoid these indications. So you cannot intertwine your hands like this or bite your fingers. This one looks scared. Clear for this person that he doesn't want to be asked. He wants to protect himself from questions. This guy looks too worried. You want to look confident and excited about what you are presenting. This is very important. You should not avoid things like touching your face or covering your mouth or putting your hands in your pocket. All these acts should not, you should not use these acts in your presentation. So you have to be careful about your body language. You are talking to people not only with your speak, but also with your speech, but also with your body language. So you have to be careful about these acts. Now, yeah, these are different things. I'll just conclude quickly what we did in this presentation. We talked about preparing for the presentation. Let me go to preparing for the presentation. For the time management, you need to design your presentation carefully so that you finish and start on time. Usually you take 2 to 3 minutes in a slide on average. If more or less, then you need to practice, make dry runs, make sure that you time your presentation during the dry run. Do not go outside your time frame. Colors are important, but don't use weird colors. There are some colors. Some colors are not visible on the screen. You need to think about this as well. Font size need to be as large as possible. Each slide should have bullets and should have figures. Bulleted items has to be far from each other. So you should have some space between bullets. In each presentation, you should have a title slide, state your objective, have an outline slide, a transition slide, and the conclusion. These slides are essential. They have to be in your presentation. You have to care about what you address, keep the eye contact, voice intonation. We did not talk about this, but you have to be clear as well when you talk to people. So this concludes my presentation. Thank you for watching. Assalamu alaikum.